Hang tight, we're almost ready. Thought we were. Try it again. There we go.
Please welcome the cast of Superstar 19, Glee House.
You can talk when I walk in. Turn around with that fake grin. But I feel it underneath. There's a spotlight chasing me. I've been low, I've been pushed down. Still I smile when they run their mouth. Go ahead and count me out. I'll be louder than the doubt. Throw your shade, I'll make it shine. Hit me once, I'll rise up twice. Try to knock me to the ground, I'll come back and take the crown. Say what you wanna say, I'm gonna shine anyway. With slushy on my face, I'll give it everything I've got. Keep it up, you're gonna see I'm exactly who I'm meant to be. You wanna be a superstar like me. A superstar like me. You wanna be like me. A superstar like me.
All right, everybody, it is now time for our finale. We have Channy and we have Julia, our two finalists for the Superstar 19 Glee themed house series, similar to Big Brother, but with our own spin on it, of course. Tonight, the jury will decide which of these two will be the winner. We will start with Julia. Channy has decided to let Julia go first while he finishes his chicken. All right, so the stage will be yours. Once both have done their intro speeches, then the jury will do their questioning. All right, Julia, the stage is yours.
Hey everyone. You obviously know I'm Julia, so I don't really have to say that. But I just wanted to start off by saying that you guys all made this a memorable game. My gameplay throughout the whole season was intentional. Everything that I did had a strategy behind it and a reason. And it was part of the strategy. Um, I wanted to go under the radar a little bit and also use and well not use but align with louder competitors. The social com was not my strong suit. I didn't win any challenges, but that's fine. My game was broken down into three categories, which was social, strategic, and adaptability. My social threat is always something that I am really proud of. I feel like I am someone who is always social and I have the likability. Um, I did have multiple people that I was working with. I was I put pretty much I positioned myself to get to the end by having multiple people trust me to take me to the end with them. I did take a few moves, which I'll get into now. I was behind the Slater blindside. That was pretty much my idea. I did have some people behind me on that, obviously, and rallied the troops on that. I also did a strategic move against Hyrie. I gave him a vote blocker, which was a Quinn's Crown. And then at the same instance, which was one of the powers I won, which was to block which was Coach Raj's Hell's No, which pretty much blocked all of his advantages being played by him or on him. So essentially, that's how that happened with Hyrie's vote out. And that's a little bit about my game. I generally have enjoyed all of the jury members, and I am excited to hear what you guys have to say and own my game. And every single one of you got me to this point, so I thank you so much. And I hope that you listen to what I have to say. And congratulations, Chani, as well, for getting to the end. And yeah, and everything that I said, my gameplay was intentional. So whatever you guys have questions on or comments, I'm here for it. Thank you.
All right, Channing, you're up.
All right. Yeah, I will use my final speech as a way to wrap up all of my moves and things throughout the game. I will use my opening speech to just say that I am super open to all of your questions and I plan on listening. And it was a super fun game to play with all of you. Minus Kyle, but that's neither here nor there. And I think this experience has really made me kind of grow up a little bit. I mean, playing with 23 other people is not something you do every day. So it's definitely one of the biggest games cast wise that I've played. And to be sitting here with the amazing Julia, my day two ride or die, is something that I'm just really proud about. And all in all, I'm proud of the way that I played this game. Coming into this game, I didn't know a lot of people. So I really had to rely on my comp wins and social ability to get me to where I needed to be. And that will be explained more later throughout the night, but I just want to use this as a time to say how grateful I am to have played this game and how grateful I am to have played with all of you, how grateful I am to the hosting team for putting on such an amazing game, and just how grateful I am to be sitting here with Julia. But yeah, ask any questions you want. I can handle it. But if you get sassy, I might get sassy back. But you know, we'll see. We'll see throughout the night. But yeah, let make sure you stick around for my final speech, as that will be any questions I did not answer or was not able to get to, or that we didn't hit on during the questions, will all be answered, and my entire gameplay will be revealed in my final speech.
All right, thank you, you both. Now it'll be time for the jury to start their questionings. I will go and to Kat Allen, if you can. Your camera on. Yay, thank you. Welcome, Kat.
Marvin's saying there's no audio on live. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, they just have to watch it on YouTube.
Okay, I'll let him know.
All right. Hi, you two. Long time no see. I was obviously an early boot in the jury. But I will say this. I think you guys both have something to be proud of for different reasons. Julia, this is the furthest you've made it in Superstar, and Superstar is not an easy game to play, as you know. So I commend you for that. Something that you should, I would encourage you to talk about a little bit is your creative ability this game, because I think that you stood on business there and your creative challenges were a lot better from what I can remember. Channy, this is your first time playing Superstar, and as a first time player to get to the end and actually have a shot to win the game is definitely very impressive. And I've played 5 times now and still have not made it that far. So you're doing way better than me. Um, I think the only thing I really want to say to both of you is just, own your games. Whatever you did in this game, just own it. Don't shy away from it. This is not going to be the easiest jury, I don't think. So I think most people are going to keep it respectful and keep it to game, but I just want you to remember that everything you did in the game, like whether it was intentional, whether you made mistakes, whatever, just own all of that because that's going to speak volumes to who we ultimately decide will be the winner to represent this season. Um, I will say one thing to Channy is that yes, we did have our bumps in the road, but what I appreciated about you was that we had a chance to kind of mend fences a little bit before I went out. And I do appreciate that you highlighted the fact that the reason why I went out wasn't necessarily because you wanted me out, it was because it was very limited choices. I didn't think you would send out Julia or, want Julia to go out. Because I knew you guys were fairly close because we had that Punkettes alliance. But what I underestimated was Emily. So I can't really be mad at you for putting me up. Because I think had you had a different circumstance and didn't have to nominate as many people as you did, it probably would have been different and we could have repaired our relationship that much further. So I will say I do recognize that. Julia, we didn't have as many game talks this game, and that's not completely on you. That's on me also. So that's all I wanted to say is I have nothing but positive things to say about both of you. So I'm not going to be bitter here. I'm going to be open, but I will be paying attention to how you guys own your game. And I don't have any questions. So love you both.
Love
And
you.
congrats again.
Love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kat. All right, next we will move on to Hyrie.
Give me 1 second. Trying to find a room. Hello. Okay. Um, Congrats to the two of you. So
Hello.
my question is a very lighthearted. In the spirit of Glee, I want you to tell me or tell the jury what is the one song that would describe your gameplay this season? And either one can start first.
Oh my God.
And yeah, so because I'm a creative person, so the creative answer will get my vote tonight.
Um, I don't know, Julia. Do you have an answer for that yet?
I'm still thinking.
Yeah, I think I still got to think about that one too.
Damn, you're stumping me.
Yikes. Uh,
Just kidding.
guess I should have done my research. Let me see. Let me see.
Yeah. Um,
You know what? I will say the way I played this game was just, I don't know if you know the song Somebody to Love, the Queen version, but obviously the Glee version. I was just coming through this game trying to find somebody to love and for somebody to love me. And I think I found that in Julia. So I would say that is a majority of the reason I got here is because I had that super strong connection with Julia. Um, and I just can't think of something that goes well with a comp beast. Like, can't think of a song right now that goes well with someone who won 10 competitions in this game. I don't know. So yeah, somebody to love because I'm always looking for someone to love and for someone to love me. And I found that in my dear pal Julia.
Um, my answer would be Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. I feel like this whole game, I feel like I had to kind of go tooth and nail. I feel like obviously, like Kat said, I did do good on the creatives, but you were definitely a creative king with the music videos. But yeah, I would say Staying Alive, just because I feel like this game is super hard. Um, and yeah, I mean, if you want to stay alive in this game, you got to keep believing. Um, yeah.
All
You know,
right,
okay,
good.
she chose two songs. We love that for her. She said, "Don't stop believing."
Yeah, both are amazing songs. So thank you for answering. And you guys were pretty quick with coming up with that, even though it was unexpected. I know, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna just base it off like a song. Um, as an early member of the jury, I feel like our role in this game is to kind of collect information as people come in to the jury house. So that's what we're going to base our decision off because we were not there for the long term of the game. So yeah, I'll be listening, watching, making my decisions because you two played very different games, very great games, and I wish two of you luck.
Thank you, Hyrie.
All right.
Thank you,
Yeah.
King Hyrie.
All right, can we get Marvin?
Hello.
Daddy.
Hey.
Hi. Well, first off, congratulations to the two of you getting there. Um, it's always a tough road to get there. I know I've been there, so I understand the position y'all are in. My question is kind of similar to Hirie's, but not necessarily. It's more so like Glee character wise. We all know everyone here is different characters, different personalities, different whatnot. What character like represents who, like what Glee character represents who you are as a person, and how did you incorporate that into the game that you played? Julia can go first.
I feel like for me, the character that I feel like would represent me would be Santana. I feel like she was definitely a hard bitch. Well, I guess like hard ass, whatever you want to call her. I feel like she obviously kind of stayed to herself. And then obviously she judged other people. And I also feel like once she did join the Glee Club, I feel like she kind of had her heart soften a little bit. Obviously it took a little bit of time to do that. And I feel like just through her time in Glee Club, I feel like she embraced her voice, which is kind of um what kind of represented when you did nominate me, if that makes sense. I feel like I had to adapt my game at that point, and I feel like just throughout the season, I feel like for me at least, I've always naturally um vibed with Santana, and hopefully that helped answer your question.
Um,
Thanks. Yeah, Channing, you can go now.
I think, you know, personality wise, I think I'm a Sue Sylvester. I think I'm just very outgoing. Like when I step into the room, I think I just don't have any issues with being the loudest person in the room. And even in my personal life and at work, I think sometimes I have to get a
Your
little
question.
stern with people. Like some people need checked. And I wouldn't necessarily say I had to use that this game, but I was able to understand that pretty much I'm a Sue Sylvester, and that in order for me to get far in this game, I can't just check everyone that I want to check. Um, Sue only won what, two national championships? She could have won four if she wasn't such a bitch, but whatever. I think me being a Sue Sylvester prepared me for not being as such of a Sue Sylvester in this game because obviously I came in with people that I didn't really know. I knew you, and coming into this game, I thought we were going to go after each other the entire time, honestly, because I was like, I I'm a Sue in that way. I'm very stubborn. So I was not going to message first. So if you hadn't have messaged me, I don't think we would have talked, to be honest. But I'm glad you did, and I'm glad we made up. Um, but yeah, I'm definitely a Sue Sylvester. I'm a bitch. I'm very stern. I get shit done when I need to get shit done, and I'm not afraid to check somebody. But in this game, I had to figure out how not to be as much of a Sue. Still saw pieces of my little Sue here, there, and there, being stubborn and fighting with pride a little bit. Um, but yeah, I was able to realize that I can't be exactly that in this game.
Okay. Yeah, that's all the only question I had. So good luck. I will be listening, and yeah.
All right, thank you, Marvin. Can I get Brandon?
Yeah, congratulations to the both of you. Julia, I'm gonna start with you for my question. First of all, I'm really proud that you stuck through this and, you know, doing it for Loki. Loki. My question,
Always.
I I am struggling to understand your game a little bit, and I hope to get the answers. Can you tell me, or tell the jury, I guess, more so the Slater vote out? Um, Sorry, I wrote this down, as you know.
You're good.
Just just talk, just why, how you know, you talked about the Slater vote out, so, and you drove that, because I don't see that. So I want to know really how you did that, and how, I guess you got people to vote Slater. Supposedly you drove the vote, so I want to know how you did that.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, the Slater vote, I knew he wasn't with me. So if you're not with me, you're against me. For that vote specifically, I knew I needed to get him out because if he was gonna stay in the game any longer, I needed that agency to get him out that round because he was gonna come for me. How I got people to go for him, I had social connections that I was working with, which was Emily, Channy, Mike, Antonio. Antonio was on the other side sometimes. I was also working with Frank. I was working with you at some point, Brandon. I feel like for me, the Slater vote, that one specifically, I felt like no one else was really pushing his name. So I felt like for me at least, I was the one who um kind of was working behind the scenes to get that push, which it worked. And yeah, for me at least, like I said, that was the first one of the votes that I had agency over. So I hope that answered your question.
Okay. Um, Channy, I'm a little bit struggling with this day one, day two stuff. This is really curious, because I thought I was your day one alliance member. I thought we were going to the end together. So I guess my question is, where did I actually stand in your line of cards? And I have a follow-up question when.
Yeah, as you know, you're the one who even introduced me to this game. So I came into this game knowing that I was going to be as loyal to you as I possibly could have. And I think everyone saw that. I picked you multiple times in competitions. But throughout the game, I just connected with Julia a lot, especially on day two, and we started from there. Um, but I also kind of knew that the way the game was being played, me or you, we couldn't win every single competition. So what I knew and figured was one of us are going to go home before the other. I, as much as I would have loved for me and you to be the final two, or like a combination of me and you and Kennedy, I just didn't necessarily see that happening with the way that the game was going. Um, so it's not that you weren't anywhere lower on my totem pole. It's just that I didn't necessarily expect it to ever come down to where I would have to choose between you, Julia, or Kennedy, to take to the end. And that's just a matter of I if I didn't win or you didn't win, one of us was gonna go home because we were two of the biggest threats, I feel like. And unfortunately you just got sent home by an advantage that I unfortunately gave you. So I felt kind of bad for that. But no, you were never anywhere less than one or two on my totem pole. I think in this game you can have more than one number one.
Yeah, you had multiples,
You can
is
have
what I.
multiple, you can have multiple number ones, I would say. And I would say my top three number ones were you, Julia, and Kennedy. Um, and then Emily was there too. But that was later on towards the game. I started out this game thinking I was going to be super loyal to you, which I was. It just
Yeah,
so happened it just so happened that you got taken out by a twist or an
Did
advantage.
you know about that? Did you know that they were
I
going to do
did
that?
not no, I did not know that was going to happen at all. I think you can see my face um when Mike did that. I was I had to hide it a little bit because I was pissed at that point because at that point there were sides in the game that I saw that were forming and I knew I wanted to work with you and you wanted to work with me. So I was like, damn, he got Brandon out. And honestly, looking back, when I was in that position, having the experience for the first, like happening right there, I felt kind of one pissed off and two kind of like it was a pussy move. Like no offense to Mike, but it felt kind of pussy to me. And I assume my face showed that, but I had to make sure that the inklings of me trying to fend off how close we were still hit and people still because if I would have just went off on Mike there, everyone would have been like, damn, I guess Chandler was actually really close to Brandon. Obviously, I have to be close to you. You got me into this game. You're the one who brought this experience in my life. So I had a tremendous degree of loyalty to you. But now, had it come down to me having to pick you over Julia over Kennedy, I'm not sure what I would have done there. I would have had to look and see, I think, who had the game moves, who had um the resume at that point. Whereas the way that the game played out now, I was really only looking at who I was loyal to earlier. Whereas my gameplay could have changed had that not happened to you, which I'm still kind of mad that happened to you because I feel like it's a shitty way to go. But you were never not near the top of my totem pole. So don't think that at all.
Okay, my follow-up question real quick is I want you to own because I got a lot of slack for this, and I want the jury to hear whose actually idea was it to give that to Antonio.
So yeah, that was a combination of ours. So after Pam, everyone knows I tried to give it to you to use it for Pam. Um, because I felt Pam was dangerous at that point. She was currently that HOH. But when Pam didn't do it, 2 to 3 rounds later, I think you came to me and was like, who else can we give this to? And so I threw out names. Um, Obviously I threw out Antonio's name, Mike's name. You were like, we can't do Mike. And then
Correct. So Mike's not here, but okay, continue.
and then we were like, okay, who has a star? We were like, Antonio has a star. And I was like, look, if you can do that, that eliminates a big threat. And at that point, Antonio was a big threat in this game. So I was like, look, go for it. Unfortunately, he didn't fall for it, and he came straight to me and tried to tell me that you tried to give him the thing. Obviously, I wasn't going to tell him that the idea was kind of pitched by myself. But at the end of the day, it didn't work. But yeah, no, it was 90% my idea to try to get Antonio out because I wasn't sure how Antonio felt about me after he nominated me. But yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you to the both of you. Julia, I'm proud of you for sitting there. So best of luck to you both. It's not easy to get to a superstar game. I've already done it. I've won. So
Clock it.
at trader season. But anyways, best of luck.
Love Brandon name dropping his win in the trader season, which um I know they always talk. He shared his win with two other people. Anyways, let's move on to who's next. Um,
Looks like Frank.
Frank's here. Frank's okay. Yes, Marvin, he can't win a solo game.
All right. Sorry, I am driving currently, so excuse me. But congrats you two. I love and hate you both. No, you guys play fantastic. But I mean, I talked to everybody, so I don't really have much of a game conversation. I've listened to your guys' answers a little bit, so I just want to know, who was your favorite person that you're not sitting on the jury? Who's your favorite person on the jury? And what did you lie to him most about?
Sorry, favorite person on the jury, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to go first, Jenny?
Yeah, I would say my favorite person on the jury, honestly, gotta say Brandon. I think Brandon is just in this game, he was so messy, and I live for messy. I live for messy. I think I've known Brandon a lot longer than I've known most of you, which isn't a cop out. I just think that the way Brandon plays is funny to me, and I think it was funny kind of seeing everyone scramble and be like, "Oh, we need Brandon out of this game." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah." But then I did not want Brandon out of this game. I think Brandon was a shield for me, because everyone wanted Brandon out over me. And I think had that advantage not been used on Brandon, it could have fallen on me had someone found out that I had that and I never passed it to Brandon, or someone played that advantage on me to play an advantage to where I am screwed. But also just hearing like all of the stories of Brandon coming up with this. And then in our chats, we were talking and we were just coming up with like the darndest plans, I feel like, of how can we sway someone on to get on this side. So it wasn't a matter of how can we get to the end. It was more so how can we sway someone to get on this side? Because at that point, I've said it. Sides were forming in the house from, I would say, round 4. And every week was just a ping pong battle of who was going to win it this time and who was going home for each round. And just because one side won the HOA or the new Rachel, there's so many advantages that are in play. No one knew if even if the one side that won, they could have had someone leave that round as well, just because of all the advantages. So it was fun working with Brandon in that aspect and just hearing from everyone else how messy he was. Because I enjoy playing a messy game, not necessarily myself, but being involved in a messy game. I kind of mentioned it in my rites of passage thing too when I talked about Brandon. Like he was in fights with people, and hey, it's not me. So the more fighting or the more messy you're playing, that takes the heat off of me. And I, all in all, I think Brandon's a great person as well. So I think on the jury, Brandon was my favorite person to game talk with and stuff like that. So
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I absolutely adore everyone on the jury. I personally would say, although we weren't working really closely together, although I thought we were, I would say Hyrie. I feel like every conversation we had, I felt like I laughed and smiled, and I felt like I always had a positive outlook from him. Because I was definitely going through a hard time. like grieving Loki and stuff like that. So I feel like just like he was listening to me then, I feel like a lot of people were. So it's hard to just pick just one. But I feel like just with like Hyrie at least, we had really good conversations. And I feel like he is definitely one of the people that I hopefully will get to talk to after this game is over. But yeah, and I mean, I could say everything nice about every single person on the jury, so I honestly did enjoy everyone. So, but I know you said just one. So that's like one of the top people. You're in the top three, Frank.
Oh, look at that, third place.
I
No,
said in the top three. I didn't say which plays.
I think
no.
I think had you stuck around longer, you would have been in my top two.
So I wasn't asking for to be in it, but if I was, thank you. No, I generally enjoyed both of you. So I wish you guys nothing but the best. I'm still deciding on what to vote, and I think I'm running out of time. So whoever I vote for, congrats, and whoever I don't vote for, it's nothing personal. So good luck, you two.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you, Frank. Next we will move on to Pam.
Hello.
Hey, girl.
Okay, I have to clarify something for
Hey.
Kenny. You said that you think Mike's move was a pussy move by taking Brandon out that way. But you said you had told him to do the same move on me or Antonio. So who's the bigger pussy? You're putting someone else to do your dirty work.
So if you recall, what I said was in the moment I felt it was a pussy move, but obviously looking back, I was pissed at the moment. So I felt obviously it was a pussy move. But my opinion can change going forward, which it did. It's a game move. So do I think it was a pussy move now? No, but at the time, was I mad about it because it took out one of my allies who I was working with? Absolutely. Do I sometimes just say the first thing that comes to my mind? Absolutely. I mean, is it a bad thing? Not necessarily. Is it a good thing? Not necessarily. But I don't think so. Don't get my words twisted. I was not calling Mike a pussy. I said in the time, in the moment, I felt that it was a
Yeah,
pussy.
I know you didn't call him a pussy, but you said it was
Yeah,
a pussy move. So
yeah.
I wanted to clarify you having someone else do the same, trying to do the same move that ultimately you called a pussy move. What would you consider your move at that point?
My move at that point, if I was on the outside looking in, I of course would have also considered it a pussy move if I was on the outside looking in. But looking back, any type of move to do that against a threat is a smart game move, especially if you're not 100% sure if that person is on your side. And at that point, you were not on my side. Antonio, I was not sure it was not on my side. And like I said, I think it was clear from like round 4 that sides were forming in the house, and we were unfortunately on opposite sides. So looking back, like I said, if it would have happened to me, and like I said, it felt like a pussy move at the time, but given time to reflect and think about what was happening in the game at that time, obviously it's not a pussy move, but that was just me saying at the time it felt like it. And I don't think mine was a pussy move either. I think if someone probably felt it was pussy move, but I think again, self-reflection, opinions can change. And people need to see the game for what it was. It's a game. And if you're not like Julia said, if you're not 100% with me and we have knowledge of a certain power that could do something, then why not try to take it? And that's what Mike did. So, like I said, at the time it felt pussy, but looking back, it was just a solid game move. So I
I mean,
apologize.
I used the same move Mike did on Brandon to save my butt.
As
So
you, yes, as you should. It's a smart game move. Obviously, if it's not in my way, I'm one of those very reactive people. Um, as everyone knows, I'm very reactive. So I usually say the first thing that pops up into my mind when something pisses me off. And it's not that you or Mike or anyone in general pissed me off. It's just that the fact that my ally went home pissed me off. Um, and so at that time, I was trying to convey the emotion to Brandon when he was asking his jury question. Um, but do I think it's a pussy move? No, it was not a pussy move. That's just the way it felt.
So how many people did you have do your dirty work besides Brandon?
I honestly didn't really have people do my dirty work. I was winning most of the competitions to do the dirty work myself. I had to nominate 7 people in one round. I also didn't necessarily think that I had to have Brandon do my dirty work. Everyone knew that I had played that one time already. So if I tried to give it to someone else, they were going to be like, oh, this was played one time. Who knows if he used it a second time? But the plan was to have Brandon convince whoever it was at that point time, it was you, that he was going to spin the wheel later that night, and that's when he would get it. So it's more believable if no one knows that I passed it to him, because if I would have played it and I gave it to you, Pam, for a sign of trust, you would have known. You would have known that was bullshit immediately. So there's no way that I could have done it without being caught. So I wouldn't say I necessarily needed Brandon to do my dirty work. I don't think that's what it was. I think that was the only way that we could have executed that plan with it being still a little believable. Obviously, y'all didn't fall for it.
Well, Brandon never even offered it to me, just to let you know.
Well, that's neither here nor there, but that was the plan. And yeah, you can say it. If I would have offered it to you, you would have been like, this is so suspicious. We were not on good terms at that point. So
And
there
I
was,
thank you for coming to me and us chilling out and playing, moving on with the game and leaving everything in
absolutely.
the past. I appreciated that. So,
Yeah, and
Julia,
sorry.
what was the proudest move that you made in this game? What is your proudest moment in this game?
I feel like my proudest moment, there's a couple. Is that fine if I
Yeah, that's
speak to
fine.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say I try to so Big Brother is a social game. So I know my strength is social aspects. I had multiple people that wanted to take me to the end. So I knew that if Channy didn't take me, I knew Emily would have. I knew Mike would have. I knew Antonio would have. So I guess for me, I am really proud of how social I was and how many connections and genuine connections that I made. Um, I obviously this point right now, I wouldn't be here without Chaney, because obviously he won the um final three challenge. But regardless of that, I had multiple people that wanted to take me to the end. I was really proud of my Hyrie um move. I know he probably didn't like getting voted out, but I feel like for me at least, I feel like that was really cool. Like I was trying to build trust with him and show like, oh, like, hey, I have your back, but not on the flip side, which is also behind the scenes and no one knew that I had that advantage. So eventually I did tell Brandon and Marvin about it. And then obviously Channy and Emily and Mike knew at final 4 or 5. And I feel like for me at least, I feel like that was one of my proud moments because that is one of the moves that I can fully say that I did. And I also feel like just having the, I guess, social capital, I feel like is something that I'm really, really proud of. And and I was on the block 5 times, so I mean, I did something right. So, yeah,
Last question to both of you. What was one thing you did in the game that you regret and will never do again?
get you out. No. Um, um, that's wait, repeat the question.
What is one thing that you did in this game that you regret and will never do again?
Um, I think for me, it was the blowout with Mike and Antonio. I really feel like I kind of messed up going to them when I was very emotional and I was obviously going through stuff in my real life. So I feel like for me, I shouldn't have reacted that way. I did apologize to Mike. I haven't apologized to Antonio yet, but I know he's on here. But I shouldn't have reacted that way. But other than that, like game moves and everything like that, I don't regret because everything that I did was intentional.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment. I think game-wise, I don't regret any moves that I made. I would say mine kind of relates to the blowout when you and a cat were on the block against each other and then y'all both stayed. And I think I called Cat a bitch. And I think that obviously was uncalled for. I shouldn't have done it. And as 10 seconds after I said it, I was like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. But I'm so stubborn. I stick to my guns. And even though I knew it was wrong of me to even say that, um, and I think that drove a wedge between me and Kat and also me and you, because at that point we had had a conversation on Zoom, maybe like 3 rounds later. And it might have been when you were HOH or something, but you said like I was disrespectful. And I was like, damn, like I don't mean to be like that. It's just like I said, I say the first thing that pops into my mind. So that kind of made me moving forward, it kind of helped me not just explode on people when it's not necessary, and just take a deep breath, take a step back, and not lash out at when something doesn't go my way. And I think that kind of showed in the Brendan thing. I think had that not happened and we had not had that conversation where you pretty much told me I was a disrespectful bitch. You didn't say that, but I was disrespectful. um, I think at that point I probably would have lashed out too. I would have been like, damn, okay, Mike, you got my ally out. Like, here's all these things that pissed me off about that. But it made me second guess what I was going to say, even though I felt in the moment that it was horrible for my game. I didn't lash out at that point. So I would say, yeah, I think I need to work on just lashing out. And I think had that not happened and had I not lashed out, I think I could have maybe repaired our relationship a little bit more than we even did in the game. So that's what I regret. Game wise, though, I don't really regret much, really anything at all. I think the game moves got me here. And with all the advantages, I was unsure what was happening. So I feel proud of myself game wise, but I would take that back in a heartbeat if I could.
So congratulations to both of you. And gameplay, great. Both of you did some wonderful gameplay. Just I recommend take deep breaths, don't react, think about what you have to say because at the end there's a jury waiting there. And things that you say throughout the game sometime are not forgotten. So good luck to you both.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Pam. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Pam. All right, next we have Antonio. No, yeah, Antonio. Or is it Cat? So lost. It's Cat.
The cat.
Oh, she's so pretty. Look
Hey,
at her.
cat. She's so cute.
Hi.
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 First of all, congratulations to you both. You both played phenomenal games. Channy, first time. Holy crap, you have killed it. Julia, I'm so proud of you for making it to the end like you wanted to. So I guess I have a question for both of you, but then I just have one for Channy. So the one that I have for both of you is kind of like I felt it really hard for people to connect with me in this game. Like we would shallow game talk, but no real game talk. Why is that neither of you guys ever got into serious game talk with me? Because that was really weird for me.
I can say for me and you, I think I'll take the blame for it as well. We didn't really have a chat until probably what, like round 5?
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't even have a chat until super late in the game. So at that point, I had already connected with all these other people. So when you came in and we started having conversations, I felt they were genuine. I just felt it was a little too late. And like I said, you were never someone that I wanted to get out of this game, regardless of what conversations we had had. With the way that the game went, I had to put people up. Basically, every single round that I had, I was nominating more than 2 people. In one round, I was nominating 7 people. So when it got down to slimmer numbers, I was already connected with everyone else. So that's why you became a nominee that I had to put up. But yeah, I just think we connected. Had we had a chat earlier, I think things would have been different. And I apologize that you felt it was difficult for us to connect because I thought we connected well, just a little too late.
Okay, yeah.
And it's my fault too for not making the chat, but obviously I think it's not an excuse at all, but I was just so busy during this time frame and this month and 9 days that we've been playing. I didn't always have the opportunity from round one to make chats with every single person. So I, of course, had to rely on my competition skills because that would get people to talk to me. Obviously, if you're winning competitions, people are going to talk to you. And I knew I had that going for me, so I spent my time elsewhere working on those social connections. But like I said, had we connected previously, I think it would have been a different story. And I hope you know that.
Okay. Yeah, I did feel like I connected with you both. It's just like I felt like it why it didn't go deeper. So I appreciate you clearing that up.
So for me, I did have chats with every single person since day one. So I can speak to that aspect. Like I said, my main thing is it's a social game. With you, Kat, I feel like we did have a really close personal relationship, and I understand as far as like the game wise. I think honestly, I feel like for me, I don't know if it's the same for you, like the round that cat left, the other cat left, and you came to me and you were like, "Hey, you don't tell anyone, but I voted to save you." Honestly, no one knew that. I didn't tell any single person about that. I didn't want to break that trust, and I honestly valued that relationship with you. I feel like for me at least, I feel like ever since that point we did have like more game talk. I feel like I was just kind of like in like the side, I guess you can say, like the other side, and I felt like you were with like the Pam and Kat. But ever since, like I said, that vote with Kat, the other Kat, got voted out, I feel like that's when me and you, at least for me, at least, I don't know how you feel, but that's when I felt like me and yours relationship and bond got closer. So, that's kind of how I saw our relationship.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of
Channing, the
course.
only other question I have for you was, so you came to me and said that you wanted to rock it out with me, Julia, and Emily. Then I never heard back from you about that. So I was just like, what happened to that? Because I mean, like, I was literally floating, and you guys could have just kind of grabbed me up and had a fourth number, with y'all. But it was kind of like you said you were gonna do it, and then it went to the wayside. So I just want to
Yeah,
know what happened with that.
yeah, I think at that point, when I said it, I meant it. I just kind of felt that I wasn't necessarily getting what I needed from you in our conversations. So I wasn't 100% positive how committed you were to that. Whereas I knew that Julia and Emily, we were pretty much committed to each other at that point. So when I had to make the decision between Julia, Emily, or you, unfortunately, you just became the casualty of me not wanting to put either of them up. So it was nothing that I didn't mean because I loved you in this game. I wanted to keep you safe as long as possible, and I did not want to put you up. And I think hopefully you could see that when I put you up. I apologize. I didn't want to put you up at all, but when it came down to the slim options of you, Julia, or Emily, I was getting more from them at that point. So I had to make sure that I kept people who were giving me information and giving me more information safe. And then earlier in the game, I even said it on the rites of passage. You were playing, I'm glad you mentioned it. You were playing an amazing middle of the road game. You were letting the big threats come after each other. So I also wasn't sure if once it got down to a certain amount of numbers, if you were gonna maybe flip to that side once we got like majority. So I wasn't exactly sure how you were playing. And I think I misjudged that because I think you were just playing a great middle game. I don't think you were planning on flipping back and forth, which I was scared of because it's happened to me where someone I thought I was working with and they flip to the other side. They just kind of go back and forth. So I didn't know that that's not necessarily how you were playing in this game. So I was just a little scared, to be honest. So that's all I can say.
That's fair. Well, congratulations again to both of you. Good luck. You know, I feel like whoever wins will represent the season very well. So, yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, you two.
Thanks,
Thank
girlie.
you, Kat. You look so beautiful, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kat. Antonio?
Boo.
Good evening. So I'm gonna be very swift, very direct, and I'll be done. I don't have any questions for you guys, just really a statement. So I've been practicing my speech all day and I couldn't decide whether to address both of the finalists or the person that I think the winner is gonna be. So I think I'm just gonna save my time and I'm gonna speak directly to the person that I think is gonna win the game tonight. To the person receiving my vote, thank you for respecting this game enough to actually play it. You were intentional, adaptable, and willing to get blood on your hands when necessary. To the empty chair sitting beside you, I hope making it here was enough. Thank you.
All right, we move on to Mike. And Mike is
Mike,
muted.
you're muted.
Okay, there I am. Okay. I just made it back to my mom's just in time for this. So I apologize if I'm a little frazzled. First and foremost, congratulations to both of you. Whoever is sitting at the end deserves to be there for whatever reasons they got there. That being said, um, Pam kind of brought it up earlier, and I just kind of wanted to make a statement of respect in these games. And I think, it was kind of hashed out with the Pam conversation, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. But I do want to say that when you're putting people on a jury and you're making things happen and they're supposed to turn around and vote for you, it's hard to vote for people that are disrespectful toward you. And I'm going to direct this specifically at Julia because before I left, our whole conversation was about me helping you because I knew I was going home. And I told you all these pieces of advice and I was trying to help you and guide you and be a friend to you. After I got voted off on the live, you and Channy had a conversation that you said, quote, Mike's mad, fuck him. And I was really, really upset by that. Only because I had gone out with my head held high and I was trying to support you and help you in this game. And when I heard that, it really set me back. So I want to give you an opportunity to kind of address it because you and Chan, I think it was in a point where you were basically, Channy was committing to you that he was going to save you, that everything was good, you felt comfy and everything was great. And then you said, Mike's mad, fuck him. And I just need you to kind of own that moment and maybe have a quick little reflection with me on that.
I personally don't remember saying fuck you. If I did say that, like I said, when I apologized about the crash out with you and Antonio, I wouldn't say crash out, but when I got emotional, if I said that, I do apologize. I never meant any disrespect about that. You were one of my closest allies, literally since probably like the first couple rounds. Um, I never honestly never meant to disrespect anyone. So as far as that goes, um, I am sorry. I obviously was wrong in that instance. I should have never said that. Um, Genuinely, I see you as a friend outside of this game. And I know things get heated. Genuinely, I am not even going to blame anything as far as like personal life and shit like that because you already know like everything I've been through or whatever, but like that's like not an excuse. But I want to take ownership for upsetting you. I never meant to disrespect you, and that was never my intention at all because I have the utmost respect for you. yes, you are a target, or not target, but you are a dangerous player in this game, obviously, or whatever, you know what I mean. But yeah, I have the utmost respect for you, Mike, and honestly, I hope that you understand that I deeply apologize, and I hope you know it's from like the bottom of my heart. And I never, honestly, never meant to say fuck you or anything like that. I never, ever, ever meant to say that. And I hope you generally know that. And hopefully you can forgive me and kind of like see that I feel like I obviously I love Channing, but I feel like I do kind of represent the season. But I do take ownership of everything. And when you ask me, do you take ownership of everything that you did? Yes. So I will not back down on my mistakes. And I do apologize for that, and I'm sorry.
I appreciate that. And you used two pieces of my evidence on me, or of my advice on me, and I loved that. You apologized for something you did to me, and you stroked my ego a little bit. So I appreciate that.
Oh wait, I have one more thing.
Yeah, go for it.
You are the most handsomest guy ever. I love you so much.
I was wondering if you were going to forget that.
Never.
I love that. Channy, honestly, you are a beast. Like, you played a really great game. The challenges that you won, I mean, you were controlling a lot of what was going on in this game. My only comment to you, and maybe it's kind of a question, so if you want to respond to it, you can, is I feel like you and I were kind of always sort of distant with each other. And I don't know if that was because of the amount of people in the game and we just never really like chose each other in the beginning. But when it got to the point where I think the two of us really needed to like engage with each other, I never really felt like you were ever willing to really engage. You didn't respond a couple of times where you would be like, hey, how's your day? Like, you would send me a couple of voice messages, but I never felt like it was like genuine, and I never felt like it was like you really wanted to ever work with me, which is why I think we got even more distant. Can you maybe just reflect on that for me a little bit and maybe like use that in a way to like persuade me to vote for you?
Yeah, of course. So when I first, like I said, when I first came into this game, I knew I was gonna win competitions. Like that's unless I go out round one, two, or three, my allies were winning competitions in the first few weeks, so I didn't have to worry about that. But I knew eventually my time would come where I would have to make people mad. And what I did not want to do was talk to every single person in this game, promise them so many things, and then have to turn around, get more blood on my hands by lying to them, by nominating them. So unfortunately, you were just one of those people who we didn't necessarily talk game until later in the game. And at that point, I had seen you in a couple competitions. You were pretty decent in the fast typing one, so I was like, okay, this person's a threat. And to me, when I come into a game, I always try to scope out the threats. And I think I was right with you. You were a big threat in this game, and I think you know that.
The feeling was mutual, Channy, don't you worry.
I know. And so it came to a point where I have to ensure that I can still play a majority truthful and I don't want to say respectful because we just talked about disrespect. When I say respectful, I mean like not just blatantly lying to someone or backstabbing them for no reason. So I had to have some people that I kept a little distant in order to not look like a complete just Hitler in this game, because what I didn't want to happen was like I said, I didn't want to have conversations with every single person, and then have to turn around and backstab them. So I had my moments where I could have won more competitions, but I didn't necessarily need to, and I knew I needed to lay a little low because I didn't want to have to nominate 7 people at one time again. And I knew at one point you had told me you had like 23 stars. I was like, Mike got something. Mike has things like I cannot keep winning so many things and then have to nominate him because he's going to turn around and play something on me where I go home because of it. So I saw you as a threat. I also think we just connected a little too late in the game, but I do think when we had conversations, they were genuine. I don't want you to think they weren't. Like I did appreciate hearing how your day was going because to be honest, that's how most of our conversations went.
They really were.
Even though like you said the door was open, but I didn't want to push through the door and then have to backstab you later. uh, because I knew at that point I was already connected to Julia, Emily, Brandon was still in the game. So I didn't want to have to just make you think that I was just talking to you to get further in this game. So I knew I had to keep you a little distant, and I apologize for that. But that's just kind of the strategy that I go with coming into these games. Like, I can't talk to every single person and then turn around and nominate these people. Like, that's it hurts my heart to have to nominate people at all, but especially people who I have told, yeah, I got your back, or let's work together. And then I turn around, have to nominate 7 people. One of those people, or 2 or 3 of those people, are people that I probably had conversations with and had plans to work with them. But because of certain rounds like that, that kind of eliminated any possibility of me working with them moving forward. Whereas I think if this were a normal Big Brother game, I would have felt more comfortable pushing through that door, because normal Big Brother game, you don't have to nominate 20 people in a round. But I hope you don't think it was anything that I thought against you. And I think I told you in the beginning, I love a man with a beard, and I thought you were cute. But that's neither here nor there.
You're ridiculous. Julia's like, not again. Okay. So my last thing to you, Channy, is well, first of all, I just want to say that's why you were totally down for me to vote for Kennedy, because you needed an excuse to then nominate me at some point in the game. So like I get where that's coming from now. So it wasn't that we didn't talk about me voting for Kennedy. It's that you were like, good, vote for Kennedy so that I can then turn around and nominate you. Got it. The second thing I'm just gonna say really quick is just be careful about like how you present yourself sometimes. And I know it was kind of brought up with the Pam, and I don't know how much it was brought up before that because I wasn't able to get to the Zoom. But just be careful about like how you present yourself in these. And I am not one to speak either, and I'm speaking from my own experience from earlier in the game. So like just be aware of kind of like how sometimes people can perceive you based on some things that you've said or actions you've taken, you know, arguing with production, calling people the B word, using the P word when my mom was in the car. No, thank you. So just like be aware of those things. And again, coming from experience, I had my own little blow up, but like I backtracked from that. You did backtrack from some of that as well. Just be aware of it. Both of you guys played a great game. I still am very like kind of torn. I think I know where I'm going to vote, but Emily still has some questions and you guys have some final statements. I didn't get to hear any of your beginning stuff, so like I'm still trying to figure this out. So good luck to both of you. Hope you guys are happy with how this all ends up.
Thank you.
Thanks, handsome devil.
All right, Emily.
Hi.
Hey. Hey, girl.
Okay, so first, I see good in both of your gameplays. I also have seen bad in both of your gameplays, and also towards production a little bit, which I think something needs to be said because you truly want to say it. And this is not me being a bitch or anything, I promise. I do have multiple questions for one of you guys, and I only have one question for one of you guys. The reason why I have multiple questions is because I still have no clue which way I'm going yet. Like, I kind of have an idea, but I want to ask the questions first. Um, I'll start with you, Channing, because I do want to kind of back off of what Mike said about like watch how you're, doing. Honestly, you've been doing amazing tonight and answering things really well and just everything. So good job on that. I did write down my questions because as I was listening. But let me see. Okay. So you had mentioned about using Brandon as a shield. Do you think you would still be here if you did not use him as a shield? Because that has been a big thing too, where people are like, you used other people to do your dirty work or whatnot. But do you think you would still be here if it wasn't for him?
Yeah, I'll get to that. I do want to bring up the first thing you mentioned about production and me wanting to say something. That's already been said. I've already apologized to production about.
Okay, see that I didn't know, so I apologize.
Oh yeah, it was just in a Zoom with me, Tony, and Evil. I think some other people might have been there, but we kind of talked about it. And like I said, 20 seconds after I say stuff like that, I realize why am I doing that? It's an online game. There's no money. So I did apologize, and it didn't come across as an apology, I'll do it right here. I do apologize to you, Tony, for the way that I treated you. I was just a little frustrated, but obviously that's not an excuse. So we'll get to that. But I do think if I did not use Brandon as a shield, and I wouldn't even say I used Brandon as a shield. Brandon was there and he just so happened to be a shield for me. So I do think I still would be here if Brandon was not in this game. I think
Would you have done those moves yourself then that you had asked him to do?
well, the only one that I asked him to do
Okay.
was to use that advantage. I actually, when the game started, and I wanted you kind of out from round one because
Yeah.
you were a threat. I actually asked Brandon to nominate you because I was like, she's such a threat. He didn't do it. So Brandon wasn't doing my dirty work for me. I only asked him to do that one thing because like I said, if I did it, it wouldn't work. And there's no way it would have been able to execute it and it worked properly. So the only way that it would have worked was to have someone who we have a common, not enemy, but in this game, someone who needs to go for
Yeah.
of our sakes.
You can refer to as enemy. I mean, that's what we call
Yeah.
it. So
The enemy in the game. It only worked if we had that consensus and then Brandon used it because he was the only one that could convince anyone that he had just gotten it.
okay.
If I tried to give that to Pam myself, she obviously would have been like, you just used this. Now she's getting it, seeing that if you use it 3 times, you get eliminated from this game. We were not working together up to that point at all. She would know something is up because,
What?
and who's really going to trade an advantage like that? That's really,
Yeah.
So I would say I didn't have Brandon do my dirty work except when I needed that specific thing to happen. That could have been Julia, that could have been you, that could have been anyone. But the only person at that point in the game that I trusted to do that is someone that I knew also wanted the same person that I wanted out.
Okay.
Which at that point was Pam. So yeah, I think I'd still be here. I didn't necessarily use Brandon as a shield or for him to do all my dirty work. It just so happened that the game that he played set that up for me. And I took advantage of that. But I do think I would be here in this position, even if Brandon was not here.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. And then, Julia, the multiple questions are for you. Like I said, it does not mean I'm not going to vote for you. It's just different things I've heard that I do want to ask. I'm going to talk kind of a little bit about myself real quick, and there's a reason why. When I play these games, I hate making multiple final twos. I have in the past told people no for final twos because kind of like what Channy said, doesn't want to kind of stab someone in the back. But then I kind of gone through a way like if someone has come to me like, oh, we're gonna go far, we're gonna make multiple final twos. Sorry for the loudness in the background. Um, I will be like, oh yeah, we're gonna go far. Like I'll be honest, like I wanted to go far with you, Julia, but my final two was Mike. And I was his, but anyways, because you came to me about like getting to the very end. Multiple other people have talked about you saying that you came to them to get to the end. So that is something I do look at when I'm looking at a winner because it seems like you're the one who did go to multiple people to ask for a final two. Whereas if it was like the other way around, like people come to you and you're like, oh yeah, let's do it. Like kind of like what I said, like I have said to people, yes, let's be a multiple two. I'm gonna go outside because I can't think.
You're
Anyways,
good.
do you understand my question there, or do I need to kind of rephrase that?
No, I
No,
understand it.
the
No,
end,
I understand
the,
it.
hold on, sorry. The end
No,
question
you're
of
good.
that, like I was getting to a point, but then my kid's like loud as hell.
No, you're good.
Who was your true multiple? Like, who was your true final two in the end?
So pretty much, that's false. I didn't go and make final two deals with anyone. Like I said in one of the parts that I said, I could have went to the end with you. I could have went went to the end with Channy. I could have went to the end with Mike and probably a couple other people. Um, I didn't do that. Yes, I said I vibed well with people and I would like to go far with certain people, but once the game started panning out, um, yeah, then I decided. I guess my real final two, I would say, is Channy. Because I feel like he said before previously, we were number day two ride or dies. But yeah, I for
Is it
that part, no.
Oh, a lot of people are under that impression that you're trying to make a final two deal with them, or like saying we're going to get to the end.
No. Um, no, I never made multiple final two deals. I believe that was Channy who did that. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah,
but
we
I didn't
didn't.
do that.
I mean, Channy and I did not make multiple Channy and I did not make any final two deal. Like we're like, let's try to get to the end, or like not get to, you get what I mean, Channy.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, sorry, I want to respond to that real quick because I actually wrote that down while you were talking. The only final two I ever brought up or was brought up to me was in round like final four when you came to me and asked me for a final two. And I said yes. All the other previous ones, even we were working together, we never promised each other a final two until final four. Even in all my other alliances, I never promised anyone here that we would go to final three or final two or final four or final five together. Because like I said, that's one of the ways I like to play this game. I don't like to make promises that I can't back up or keep. So I try to refrain from making those promises until I know for sure that that is unnecessary. And then with Brandon, I'm not sure what the eyes are for. I think we came in under the assumption we would go far together, but I never told Brandon during the game like I was going to be final two with Brandon. Um, so I wouldn't. The only final two or even final anything that I had in this game was with you, Julia, at final four. Even
Mm-hmm.
though I knew we
Yeah,
were
and
ride or
I
die.
also wanted, yeah, no, I get that. And I also want to touch on that point. Yes, I did have the final three chat with you and Mike, Emily, and then I also had one with Mike and Antonio. At that point, Antonio was ideally day one. Channy was day two, but literally, ideally, Antonio was my day one. I did try to trust him. I did trust him until the point that I couldn't. I guess we both had distrust in each other, but he was also a huge threat. Same with Mike. So I think for me at least, I feel like I was trying to build social connections. I wasn't focused on the end game, until probably like the middle of the game.
With that, okay, alrighty.
Yeah, if that like clears up a little bit. And
No, it
Antonio, stop like doing.
No, it does clear it up. And then also you said like in your opening that you wanted to play under the radar.
Hmm.
Why do you feel that that is winning worthy? Because you said that every one of us here has helped you get to that point. So if we are the ones because you said everyone here helped you get to that point and you wanted to do under the radar, I'm just seeing like in your mind, why would that be then winning worthy? Because yes, you do need people to help you get to the end and everything, but it should be more you front and center than behind like under the radar and having everyone help you get to that.
So I said that because you guys did help me get to this point. Every move that I made was intentional. I did have myself like in the forefront of every move that I did do. I just think that since I was really nervous in the beginning, I was telling Channy that too. I didn't say that properly. I meant as far as under the radar, as far as like the first couple rounds. I usually am one of the type of players that go super hard from
Okay.
the beginning, and I wanted to kind of downplay that so I wasn't seen as a threat. But every move that I made, it was for me, and like I said, eventually the end game. But overall, I didn't say it in my opening speech, but this game is for Loki. Like I know that probably sounds crazy to some people, but that this
No,
is
I
more than
get
just
it.
a potential win.
All
So yeah.
right. Nope, I understand that. I do have two more. Sorry. Like
No,
cuz
you're good.
these questions, I know they're kind of like bam, but yeah. You had said then too that you were playing tooth and nail. What exactly do you mean by you were playing tooth and nail? Because, like you said, you did make those connections. You did have the people there helping you and everything. And it wasn't until towards the end you really went up. And at that point, when you did go up, you were going to be safe regardless because of who was there. So, how were you playing this game tooth and nail?
So that's not necessarily true. I was the first couple rounds I was actually nominated. The
Okay.
first one was against Lawrence. I did use my star because I didn't want to risk my I didn't want to, whatever. I guess it's like over PG-13. I don't want to swear, but I pretty much didn't want to risk my butt for like just getting voted out because I obviously, you can trust people, but obviously something can happen till the last minute.
With that.
And then the other two, I know one was against Brandon. That one, it was more so I feel like I was more socially connected. And then the other one, I was nominated by Marvin. So that one, that is honestly the pivot point of me adapting because ever since that point, I feel like I had to adapt because I was like, okay, something's not working. So I feel like ever since that point, I had to kind of adapt.
I mean, I think you were really set up really good in this game. Like, I'll just be honest. Like, for me personally, I'm just trying to see that with the tooth and nail part of it.
Well, I never won any competition, so I feel like I had to prove myself, like through the creatives. I feel like I had to prove myself to some aspect because I feel like in some aspects of the game, I don't feel like I like you're kind of questioning me right now, like you kind of don't know what I did. It was more behind the scenes. And that's why I also brought up the Slater and the high revote.
With that. Okay. Alrighty. And then, okay, so this one is kind of like more of like a conversation you and I had because it's, and I mean, I guess later on, I guess I wasn't 100% correct. When I had told you like pretty much like we needed to talk, like, because it seemed like this is where things were aligned and you act confused with it. Was that an act or was it not an act? Like, did you know more of what was going on or no?
No, it wasn't an act. I believe you're talking about
Whole Antonio, Michael, and like with
the
Pam and all
Pam.
that. Yeah.
No, that was not an act because I did freak out on Mike and Antonio. They didn't keep me in the loop. That's why I keep bringing up that point as far as like my mistake because I shouldn't have lashed out on them. That was fucking wrong of me. I shouldn't have let personal stuff. I should have just like took a beat and then kind of like came back. Um, but yeah, that's why that happened. And as far as the Pam,
Well, I thought
she
she was
only
like all part of them, and I guess she wasn't. I'm just bringing that up because I was like explaining what the part I was talking about. And
Mhm.
honestly, like I didn't say this part out loud, but I did write it down because I was like, I was just curious because you did get pissed off at Michael and Antonio, so I wasn't sure if that was like an act or if it wasn't an act after like kind of seeing what everyone is saying, and the jury and then whatnot. So that was kind of like just my last question of were you playing me there or not? So
No, I was never playing you in this game, Emily. I generally did not I honestly didn't know Mike had those powers. I didn't know any of those like advantages that Antonio had. The couple times that I did know what he had, it was from Marvin. But I never outed that information. I just kept it to myself. And then for yeah, like the Antonio, Pam, Mike with that Frank vote out, no, I was not a part of that. I was one of the people that did vote Pam that round. And no, that was not an act because yeah, I am an actress, but I'm no. No, I'm not. No, that was not an act. That was legitimately whatever that word is. Um like I
legitimately,
definitely
yeah.
yeah, like I was not acting at that point, no.
Okay. Did you know if Marvin had any powers at all then
I
throughout
didn't know if
this?
he had anything, no.
No. Okay. Alrighty. That's all of my questions. Like I said, good luck to both of you guys and everything. You both did play a good game. Like I said, I have seen good, I have seen bad. Like I did come in teeny bit leaning one way, but I also was up in the air as well. But good luck. Your end speeches, just own up to everything. Show like what moves you guys actually made, and how you guys think that you should be the winner rather than the other person. But good luck.
Thanks, girl. Love you.
Thanks, girl.
Love you.
Love you.
All right, thank you. Now the jury have all spoken. We will now go to closing speeches. Since you started us off, Julia, Channing will go first.
Yeah, so best for first, right? No, I'm just kidding. So coming into this game, like I've said multiple times, I feel like I did not know a lot of people, so I had to use a lot of the skills that I've learned in previous games to help me with this. I knew I was going to win a lot of competitions. I won a total of 10 and then a creative competition. So I knew that was going to come. What I didn't necessarily expect was with my limited availability was how decent my social game actually was. I think for the most part, minus the people who I kind of kept at a distance in the beginning of the game, for those reasons that I mentioned previously, so that I didn't have to backstab anyone. I think for the most part, we had decent conversations. I don't like to put a dead set number on if we're working together, how far we're going to go, because things change in this game so often. I made sure that I refrained from giving a dead set number to anyone that I said I was working with. And I think you all can attest to that. I kept it kind of vague, but if you knew I wanted to work with you, you knew I wanted to work with you. Because another thing, I play these games, I try not to lie unnecessarily. I don't just lie for fun. I don't just play you for fun. I don't think that's necessarily fair for me to do that. So if there was any moment where I may have been a little untruthful with you, it was to progress my game further, which I don't think happened a lot of times, but in the instances that it did, such as the Pam thing, the Antonio thing, it was to ensure that I made it another round. And I knew if I could make jury, I would have a chance. So my goal was to get to jury. Once I hit jury, I knew that I had that chance. So I had to ensure that I had those bonds with people. Not everything in this game went my way, but I was able to adapt. And I had people in front of me who were targets more for those types of advantages. Like, how many advantages in this game were played? Like probably like 567. Who knows? 6, 7. But most of those advantages were not played on me unless I wasn't able to compete in veto or something like that because I was HOH or something like that. But yeah, so like I said, I think an all around mixture of the strategic game, the social game, the comp game. I think one was a little more outgoing than the other, but I think me surviving the block on final 6 and final 5 with no votes to evict me was something old me never would have expected, because I'm not a social like guru. I'm usually relying on my comps, which I did, but also I knew to take a step back on certain competitions that I maybe could have won, because I knew either my ally was coming up the rear and they were probably going to win, or in the instances that I wasn't able to win, I had those set and comfortable allegiances with people. Now those may have changed throughout the game, but I still think I was able to use those social aspects to get me to where I am today. Obviously, I had to get more blood on my hands than mostly anyone in this game. I had to nominate 7 people in one round, which I think is unheard of. Y'all are probably so sick of me saying that, but I think that is a crazy thing to do. That is 7 people who could turn around and use that against me to not vote for me. So I think that is just a testament to everything that I had worked for in this game and the way that I saw relationships going. And some of the questions and speeches, it felt like some people didn't necessarily know who was with who. But I felt in this game, for the most part, I was pretty confident of who was with who. Like Emily, I knew was with Mike. And I knew at Final Four, when Julie asked me for a final two, I didn't feel bad saying yes to Julie because I knew if Emily or Mike won at that point, they were probably going to take each other. So that's why I had to evict Mike at the final four because I knew if I did not win that last competition, I think I was cooked. But I hope you guys see who played the best all around game, not just a one dimension game. And I'm not saying Julia did that at all, but I think I outshone her in that aspect. I think, without regard to my sometimes lack of professionalism and tact, which I've never been great at, but I think I played as almost a clean game as you can when you have to nominate so many people because you've won so many competitions. I wasn't just sitting back, but I did know when to sit back and use the people who were being targeted before me and let them get picked off before I had to make moves. So if I knew it was a competition that I didn't necessarily need to win, again, old me would have just gone balls to the wall and tried to win every single competition regardless. But I'm 30 years old, so I think that kind of helped me figure out when to win and when not to win. And I would just say when you guys are basing your votes, this kind of goes for both of us. Don't base your votes on specific moments in the game that may have gotten heated. I know it's not always great to, get in spats with people, but I think sometimes these games, they heighten your sense of, what's the word? They heighten your sense of just protectiveness. So when something happens that doesn't go your way, and it happened for me and Julia, and I think we both saw it, but I hope you guys understand that was just the heat of the game. And like I said, if I could take back words that I said, I absolutely would. But I hope that you all collectively look and see who played the best game and not let one moment of an outburst from either of us cloud your judgment based on the entire body of work. Yeah, that's really all I have. I want to also congratulate Julia on an amazing game, and whatever you guys decide to do, that is who the deserving winner is. Again, I just want to foot stomp. Don't let one outburst from myself or Julia cloud the way that you want to vote. But thank you guys for playing with me, and I hope to see you guys again in another game. But yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you, Channy. Julia, you are up.
Okay. Hey everyone. So I just want to thank you guys all for asking all of your questions and making us, well, at least me, reflect a little bit about this game as a whole. Yes, my game wasn't as loud and as visible as Channy's. He did win multiple competitions, but my game was more relationship building and based. And I also feel like since Big Brother is a social game, I may have, which I don't think I did, make multiple deals with people. I might have said that, but I did not. I had to get very creative in this game. Yes, I did win a couple of the creative challenges. But I also feel like intentionally I let bigger threats exist while building my own connections. Both of our games are valid. Channy played his way, I played my way. I did work with multiple people like Emily, Channy, Mike, to name a few, and Antonio. I earned Kat's trust once I was against her ally cat, the other cat. I was saved twice on the block. I also survived a 9-1 vote against Brendan. I also survived the block 5 times. Yes, one of the time was through a star, the other 2 times were through people, but overall, it was through the social connections that I made that I built. Um, I did initiate the Slater blindside. I did use my vote advantage against Kat, which was a toxic shuffle to move the votes to be in my favor to save my butt because it was a tie. So that did save my butt there because I would have not beaten my seventh place placement from the last game I played. And I also did survive the block. I did use the Hyrie vote nullifier. Well, coaches Coach Roz's Hell's No against Hyrie to get him out because he was a dangerous player and he was someone that was socially connected and he was a huge threat. So he needed to go. I did share information carefully. Yes, I might not have gotten blood on my hands as socially as Channy did, because I didn't win HOHs. I did have to change strategy every round. I feel like I learned certain information now, like with Emily and Mike being number twos. Like I didn't know that to be honest. So I feel like for me, my game was intentional. Um, Channy was definitely someone that played a great game, but I feel like I also did play a well-rounded game. And I feel like if you want someone who had to be scrappy, who had to be someone that was on your side or made you believe that. But most of the time, I didn't have to lie to certain people. I feel like my jury management has gotten better since the past games I played. Um, and I did initiate certain moves. And I do feel like with all of the questions today, I feel like I did reflect back and some of the moments that I'm not proud of, I do own those moments. I do apologize for hurting people's feelings. And even through game moves. I also this game also means way more to me and it's really special to me no matter what happens tonight. I'm proud of myself for never giving up. Um, I never I never really said, "Oh, I'm going to quit the game" or anything. Um, and I feel like I did fight when I said tooth and nail, I feel like I never gave up. Like the theme of Glee. I embraced my voice. I embraced who I was fully. I am really proud of the game that I played. Maybe they had some flaws in it, but that is helping me for the next games that I play. And as everyone knows, this game and hopefully this win is for Loki. So it is very meaningful to me. But I feel like if you feel like I represented the season the best, I would love your support. So thank you and congratulations, Shani.
All right, thank you both, and thank you, jury. I'll give you all a moment, but now it is the time to go ahead and start sending your votes to your agent chat for the person that you wish to be the winner of this season. Uh, we're not going to read out anything you said, so there's no point in telling us all your thoughts. Just tell us the name of who you're voting.
Can't believe it's almost over.
I know, I'm so sad.
It is kind of sad, but everyone add me on Snapchat after we're done with this.
Love that.
All right, all right. Is Julia still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Sorry, I
So
had to go to the bathroom.
you're fine. I understand the nervous poops. Um,
Stop, that's not what I did.
all right. Well, thank you too. You made it to the final part of this game. The jury has said their piece, so have you. They have voted. I have the results. But before I go into that, I do want to commend each of you for getting to the game into the end of this game. You both got to the game into this game. Um, Let me let Mike back in. You both got to the end of this game in your own way, and you both played very different games. I will say you both got to the end bringing enough people, not bringing, but getting to the end with enough people that we're going to be okay with getting to the end or allow you to have the opportunity to get to the end. Julia, you said it yourself. Channy, you did too. You had people that were willing to bring you to the end. And so that was a very social game. Channy, you said it before. You play a very challenge-based game, and I'm very respectful of that game. Being a challenge threat is a very dangerous game to play, but you did it. But you surrounded yourself with people that were able to um, be the intel for you or have advantages for you to help your side and yourself stay safe. So you had a lot of control in this game through your relationship with Brandon, your relationship with Kennedy, who, together in total almost controlled majority of the HOHs. So that was very strong gameplay on your part, having those connections. And Julia, you were able to maneuver and slide your way through um, building those relationships that you had. Um, did you play a villainous game? Yes. But it was more so towards the end when you had to go ahead and cut ties because you wanted to make sure that that spot at the end was yours. And so it was gameplay, but you did it. So, it's very hard to get to the end of this game. As Shani complained a lot, there's a lot of advantages in this game, but that's what makes this game different. So if you can get to the end of this game, you survived a lot. You survived having to do these creatives and all these advantages that are at play. You're able to maneuver and fight and get through that. But just as much as there is advantages in the game that are against you, you also have it. You also have your power as well. So so again, congratulations on you too. I remember Julia, I have been wanting to get you to play this game for quite a while. In 17, I just said, Julia, here's your cast photo you're playing. And you're just like, okay. And
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked that season that you were able to come back and play again. And look where it got you. So good job and congratulations on getting here. And then Channy, you played in the mini, so I'm glad you were able to come back and try the long-term game. You are a prime example of the kind of players that I do like to have. Um, and as far as I I tend to cast people who can be polarizing, and at times can be kind of hard to host and deal with, but I have patience and I have faith that they're going to turn around. You remind me a lot of the season 4 winner, Dami. She cried and complained and whined so much early on, and then had an epiphany and said, "You know what? I just need to play the game. I need to play the game that's given to me." And when she let that go, complaining about why this game is not like other games, she played the game and got to the end and ultimately had the votes to win. So I was glad that we were able to be patient with you and watch you turn it around, and eventually start respecting the game and playing it, and look where it got you. So I'm glad to have watched that journey for you. Um, but with that being said, we only have one winner, and we're gonna get to announcing that. But first, let's get to nationals.
sun. Wheels go round and round, you're on my mind.
Restless hearts sleep alone tonight, sending all my love along the wire. They say that the road ain't no place to start a family. Right down the line, it's been you and me. That love and music, that ain't always what it's supposed to be. Oh boy, you stand by me. I'm forever yours.
All right, all right. We have the votes.
Good luck, Julia.
Good luck, Channy.
With 4 votes to 6 votes. Here's your winner. Channy. Congratulations, Channy.
I'm shook. I did not expect that.
All right, Channy, go ahead and let us know how you feel.
Here's how I feel. I'm forever yours. No, I'm just kidding. I honestly didn't expect that, to be honest. So I appreciate everyone who voted for me, and even if you didn't, I am glad that the votes went to a deserving person as well. Yeah, I'm a little shocked right now, so I don't necessarily know what to say, which I'm sure all of you are probably like, damn, he doesn't know what to say. That's crazy. But I feel very proud and exuberant of the way that I played. And obviously, I would take some things back if I could. And I don't know, I appreciate everyone who voted for me. I appreciate the friendships that I made in this game. I've told a few of you, but usually when I come into these games, it's business, 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 business. I'm not here to make friends. But I think for the most part, most everyone here are people that I'm going to hopefully keep in contact with after this. And for the first time ever, I'm going to give my Snapchat out publicly to all of you so you all can add me. But I feel very proud of the way that I played. Obviously, minus the disrespect, and I'm glad you all called me out on it. Without people saying things about it, how can you know it's not accepted? So I appreciate you all having the voice to say that and call me out on it. And I appreciate everyone that I've worked with in this game, whether that be a small amount, a large amount, whether that be you're my number one or you're my person that I need to nominate in the future. But you all had a part in me getting here, and I can't say thank you enough. And I'm very happy that I took a chance on this game. I was a little hesitant at first because I had heard there were so many advantages. And to me, when I play a game, I'm like, if I can't completely control it, do I even really want to play it? But I took a chance and I'm glad I did because this was an amazing game run by an amazing hosting team with an amazing cast. And I have no regrets in this game other than what I mentioned earlier. And I hope we all get to play together again. I'm not sure that I will play a Survivor games. I just can't. But maybe one day I'll test it out. But I do hope that, again, we stay in contact, and I will put my Snapchat in the chat for you guys so you can add me. But I appreciate all of your votes. And I hope that looking forward, future players of this game and even players that have played this who will play more games kind of see me as a deserving winner and can look at me as someone in this franchise, this amazing franchise, who represented the game well in this game and future endeavors. But I appreciate you all, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of you for every single lesson that you have taught me in this game. And I will use that going forward for the rest of my life. And yeah, thank you guys so much. And I'm sorry I talk a lot, but I just felt I need to get everything out. So I appreciate you all, and thank you so much. And congratulations again, Julia. You played an amazing game as well. No discredit to you at all. I think we both played amazing games, and I think it shows based on how close that vote was. One vote here and there could have changed the outcome, and I love you so much, and I'm glad to be sitting with you in the final two. But I love you all.
All right. All right. Thank you, Channy. Thank you all for following this season. It definitely, as always, is one to remember. Um, Again, congratulations to Julia. You got 4 votes. That's still something to be proud of, having been a 0 vote finalist myself. You should be proud of that. So, and yes, Chen is right. It could have gone any other way. I will announce, Julia, your votes were from Frank, Pam, Hyrie, and Mike. Everyone else voted Channy. All right. With that being said, we will be taking a few months break, and we'll be back with season 20. Season 20 is an invite only season. It's a monumental season, season 20, where we will reflect back on every previous season in celebration of season 20. The invite season only will be probably near the end of September. Survivor, so look out for those invites. If you are alumni and want to play, let me know. But ultimately, I'll send those invites out. So just let me know. It will be, I will say, will be the end of an era, dawn of an age. So thank you all for watching. Jerry, you can hang out. If you're a cast from this season and want to link to this Zoom and hang out with us, by all means, reach out, let us know. We'll drop you the link so you can come and chit chat. Everyone else watching, hope you enjoyed watching the season, and look out for the next season. And if applications drop, you want to play, that probably won't happen until maybe December or next year. So look out for that. Most likely it'll be traders, but anyways, again, congrats, Channy. Everyone have a good night.
Wait, can we know what the tiebreaker would have been if it would have been 5-5?
The tiebreaker would have been the fire making challenge.
Oh,
The cup one you did last night with the 5 balls.
I would have won that.
Julia would have won that.
She would have. And I do have to tell everybody, Jenny was not fibbing. He did indeed apologize. And I told him he was actually starting to grow on me. So
Period. That's